celebrities have excelled just trading in makeup. So bringing it back home, joining me in the studio is someone, she's 21 years old and she started her own cosmetics brand. Her name is Kutemba Chikumbi. Welcome to the show, Kutemba.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you here. It's very interesting what you're doing. I love makeup personally, so I was excited to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Now, to start off this conversation, I would like to know how you started with Kuti Kuwaha. It's Kuti Kuwaha.
Yes, Kuti Kuwaha.
Yes. How did you start with it?
Okay, so Kuti Kuwaha was started last year. It's been in business for the past 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just been 6 months.
It's pretty new, yeah.
Yeah, but we've had a very good response from the public and everything. So I started the brand because ever since I was young, I've always just had like an interest for beauty and everything that just entails makeup. I would watch my mom as a young kid do her makeup every single day.
I was that girl too.
Yeah, and like growing up in that environment,
Yeah.
you're just like, this is something that I love. This is something that I would want to do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So when I actually got the opportunity, I decided to pursue into the makeup industry despite being a student by then.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, there's been a number of local beauty brands. Is it that, does that make it an easy industry to navigate?
Okay, I think the introduction of Zambians actually venturing into local makeup brands is actually good because it gives you a platform. It helps you know that, okay, so if this one is able to do it, I can do it as well. Because before it was a bit tricky because, you'd walk into stores and everything is just foreign. Like,
Yeah.
it's celebrities that you watch on TV and you even know, like, the chances of you meeting them are so far gone. But then now watching, like, all these new brands that have come into the country, it's very, very motivating for us who are starting out because it's like you have something to look up to, like, okay, so if I push myself this much, I can actually get there. So yeah, it's actually very interesting and something that we need more in this country.
Okay. Now, generally as a business, how much work did you have to, and I'm not just talking finances, like how much, even in terms of research, how much work did you have to put into it before you started the brand?
Okay, so before I actually started the brand, it took me about a year just to get the products out. So initially when I had my products, because currently I have my own lip gloss, eyeshadow palettes and makeup brushes. So I had to like navigate with more than 20 companies, get samples, and that's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So before I started, I went into full-time Kuti Kuwaha. I was actually working. So professionally, I'm a computer forensics personnel. So I'm like a certified computer hacker and all that stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I had to work to get some money because I didn't want to start a business where I have to like lean on others. So I just thought myself, like, if I want to do this, I have to push myself. So I told myself I'll work for this certain amount of time, make enough money, then venture into my brand. So yeah, that's pretty much how the whole brand started out and everything.
Okay. Now, did you have to give up now your other job just to dedicate fully to your business?
Initially, I was doing it double.
Okay.
I was actually doing it triple because I was still a student as well.
Yeah.
So I was working a full-time job and then I had Kuti Kuwaha, which was also another full-time job, and then I was a student. So it was a bit too much to handle, but at the end of the day, it's just about how much you push yourself out there. But currently, I have just like this whole year, I've just told myself we're going to take 2021 just for Kuti Kuwaha. We want to build the brand because we've got so many projects that are coming up this year. So we just want to give it like full dedication and see how far it can go.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, with you receiving a positive response in just 6 months of having your brand out there, what have you been doing differently? Because it's not easy for people to trust cosmetics. This has to do with its skin, and people don't exactly easily trust when it comes to their skin. So, what have you been doing to gain people's trust in that aspect?
Okay, so initially when we are getting our products, like when we're having them being manufactured, we make sure every company that we work with is FDA approved. So we start from there. So when they're coming in, everything is FDA approved before we can actually have our clients use them. Then when they come to Zambia, we still have them tested. So everything is safe. Where even someone has a reaction or anything, we know it's not our products that are actually causing that. So yeah, we've just made sure that we have a one-to-one discussion with our clients once they get them. we have a very, very good after service that goes on with Kutikuwaha. So when a client gets something, you actually follow them up for like 2 weeks. And most of them actually enjoy that. You know, it's like, oh, someone out there is looking out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you ask them, like, how is this working for you? Are you getting any reactions? And ever since we started, we haven't gotten any complaints. We've actually had good sales because currently we have our makeup brushes that are all out of stale. And we still have clients every day asking, when will this be back in and all that stuff. So I think at the end of the day, for your business or anything to be different from others, you just have to think of what would you want to do if you are the customer. So that's what we always tell ourselves. So, you know, when you sell at something, just like, what would you want my seller to ask me, you know? Like, would they want to know if this is working good for me? Is this my skin tone? Is this this? So that's what we follow up with all our clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with the beauty and cosmetics industry, there's been these trusted international brands. Do you find yourself having to compete with them when it comes to the market? Or Zambians starting to trust the locals now?
Okay, I think before, maybe like 5 years before, everyone had confidence in anything that's not Zambian, you know. It comes to even just food, you know, it was as long as it's not Zambian, it's safe to eat. But then we've come to realization as a nation as well, knowing that it doesn't matter where something is made from or who's making it. As long as something is genuine and is of good quality, you have no reason not to use it. Yeah, so but when it comes to like the international brands, because, you know, we've got big companies that have been there for years, 50 years, 100 years. So as others would want to look at them as competition, Kutikuwa looks at them as inspiration. You know, you look and you're like, oh, wow, what have these guys done that has brought them this far? And what can we cope up and do to also reach this far? So the international brands are actually there just more as a guideline for us, because we're new and we're getting into this, but at the end of the day, there isn't much difference with our products, but there's just that trust that people have. And that's what we're trying to build with our clients, you know, trust, making them like our cosmetics and all that stuff, because it's still the same with everything that's international. Yeah.
Okay. Now, with the other international brands, one thing, I feel like they manage to sell because they use already popular faces that get attached to that brand. Have you been trying to use that strategy as well to sell your brand?
Yes, actually, we have. So we've actually worked with some celebrities in Zambia. We've worked with celebrities from Shakira Shea. I also have Estelle Mantel, who's more like a mentor to me. So, you know, even sometimes when because she's been in the beauty industry for so long. So when I'm so stranded, I just go to her and I'm like, what do you think I should do about this? So I feel like that's one thing that most young entrepreneurs forget, is that even as you are starting this thing out, you still have these people who've been in the industry for so long, and you reaching out to them and maybe just asking them for some guidance, some mentorship, it actually goes a long way, because they help you know what's on the market, what clients want, and what you can do. So I think that's actually a step that we've taken. We were trying to collaborate with more celebrities this year, more maybe small makeup artists as well, because at the end of the day, we also want to promote our local makeup artists so that they can start using Zambian products instead of international products with their makeup and everything.
And speaking of collaborations, I've seen before where certain beauty brands will collaborate with their cosmetics. Maybe they'll collaborate with another brand and bring in maybe just a different color or something to their range. Are you planning on doing that with the other local cosmetics brands?
Actually, that's a future, more like a long-term thing that we have going on. So yes, in the future, we would definitely love to work with Zambian brands and everything. But currently, because we're just new and we've been in the business for less than a year, we're still just trying to build and see how far we can go. But maybe come 2022, end of 2021, definitely you'll probably see one of our products, Return Kutikuwaha X something, you know. Yeah, at the end of the year or the beginning of 2022, we'll definitely have something in that range.
Okay. Now, would you say when it's one thing to have a passion for something, and it's another to just try and execute it? Sometimes people have a passion for something until they get into it, and then they realize, oh, I'm not for it because it requires so much more work than I had expected. Whom would you advise to get into this cosmetics industry?
Okay, so the cosmetic industry, just like any other industries in Zambia, be it trade or anything that you're doing, at the end of the day, for you to prosper or get out what you want, it's all about perseverance. So it's about what you want at the end of the day, because there are going to be days when you make no sales. There are going to be weeks when you make 1,000 sales and you're like, oh wow. There are going to be maybe months when things are just rough, or maybe you have no finances or anything. But at the end of the day, it's all about what got me here in the first place. Like, because every time when I'm tired, I always sit back and I'm like, why did I start this in the first place? I'm like, oh, it's because I love makeup. So you always need that driving force. If you get into an industry because somebody told you, or because you feel like that's what everyone should be doing, most definitely you will not go far.
Do people sometimes get sold the wrong dream? And what I mean by this is this. When you see celebrities like Kylie, they'll launch something and within an hour, it's sold out.
Yeah.
So do people get sold the wrong dream because they're just like, okay, Kylie sold out in an hour. Maybe if I did the same, I'll also be able to sell out.
Okay, yeah. I feel like there's some people who've gotten into business with that type of mentality. But at the end of the day, you have to know yourself. You have to know your target market. You have to know your environment. If you look at Kylie, those are already established celebrities who are international. And then if you look at maybe Zambian brands, like Zambia is still a country that's developing at the end of the day. So you just have to know your position and know, okay, so if Kylie can do this in maybe 1 hour, her products are sold out. You look at the population there and the population here and you're like, oh, so I can do this maybe in a week, because everything is different. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I feel like even just like as an entrepreneur, you have to be real with yourself and real with what you're doing. Like, don't live in this ideal world where you feel like you can do it within this certain time, and then you push yourself so much that you get discouraged at the end of the day. So it's just like you just knowing that, okay, so others can do it this way, I can do it this way, because we're two separate individuals, two separate companies, but the same products. And yeah, it's just basically just about what you love at the end of the day.
Yeah, it really is. No, thank you for coming through.
Thank you very
Thanks
much
for having this discussion with me. I love makeup and I'm all about the beauty and cosmetics industry. I love it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great. This has been Kutemba joining me. Well, she's the founder of Kuti Kuwaha. She joined me on the show to talk about everything to do with cosmetics and also entrepreneurship in general. You can't just wake up because Kylie is doing something and then you think it will go just as smoothly. You need to put in the work. That's what it takes. It takes passion and lots of work. Now we'll go on a short break, and when we get back, we'll have more on the show as we get